If you're a content creator, you might not be aware that we're basically right here. And if you didn't notice it by now, something's brewing. And if you don't adapt to the changes, you might be right here, all the way down, by the way, if you don't see it, very fast, faster than you might realize. Talking about some sort of creator crash or whatever you might want to call it. And we've talked about the issues leading up to this, right? My last video. Spoiler alert, people are just becoming sick of your boring content, which by the way, used to be just amazing content. Well, that's the amazing line. Content just 5 months ago, and right now we're going down with the ship, or you were actually going down with the ship, if you don't adapt to this whole thing. And if you ask me, a lot of creators right now are on this wrong path without even realizing, because they don't zoom out and see the big picture. So let me show you basically a plan on not only how to not be one of these boring lemmings, but I actually want to show you another side of the coin, one where you don't need to have viral content at all in order to make a good living and to set yourself up to be a creator 5 years from now still. Doing things sort of your own way. The first thing I want you to understand is that, in my opinion, we're coming back to what I would call social media 3.0, where the rules maybe even come a little bit back to the roots. And it actually makes a lot of sense if you think about it. In the beginning stages, right? When social media just started out, we basically shared everything. Remember those MySpace bulletins? Basically every day you filled out some questions about yourself or some random fact about you. We shared everything, right? We uploaded folders of pictures each weekend to, already Facebook even. Totally uncurated photos, by the way. 50 pictures of the last weekend every week. And everything just felt a lot more real, if you know what I mean, right? Thinking back, actually, it kind of feels like it was this nice party just going on all the time, sort of in the background. Except for when I got myself a virtual girlfriend from Germany in one of these chat rooms, if you remember any of these. Just basically random chatting up random people. We're not gonna comment on that. Now, the main thing I actually want you to remember is, back then it was all about being social, the whole thing. Like I said, right, if you remember, we chatted up random people up from across the world, some of which I'm, by the way, still friends with. It's kind of weird, if you think about it. And also, social media 1.0 basically was never really about showing off or even comparing yourself or trying to sell somebody something. Then, all of a sudden, I don't really exactly know what happened. Social media basically evolved and became what we have right now, right? A lot of creators flooding the scene with content, which, by the way, is not a bad thing. I just made it to sound like it was a bad thing. It's actually not. It's actually good. But I would say over the past year or so, I personally have started to notice this shift to basically overproduce everything, whether it's long-form content, also short-form content, probably as a form of overcompensation. Basically, the small dicks of social media, if you think about it. Retention editing, right? I'm sure you've heard this before a lot of the time. Retention editing is the name of the game, is what everybody says. Basically, you're gonna have to have a cut, a zoom, a graphic overlay every second. Probably in less than, cut out every breath that you have in space between your words, because yeah, we just have to compete with attention. That's what they all say, because attention spans are becoming shorter and shorter, which, by the way, I believe to be complete nonsense, right? Just look at the Netflix stats or movies. Why would they become longer and longer, right? The Irishman. And why, by the way, do you lock yourself at home from time to time, binging Friends for the 17th time, all within one session, right? Obviously, it's not about attention spans, if you really think about it. But still, suddenly on Instagram and TikTok, they all tell you to cut out everything because people just don't have attention anymore. Bullshit. Let me get into it. Now, I give you that. These over-edited videos look very good, very professional even, but it feels like people are just getting tired of them, right? For multiple reasons. And one of them is the reason why some short-form creators who have millions of views struggle to keep up financially, while others have, let's say, all right views and just crush it, right? With the money part. Actually, let's do a thought experiment together. Take out your phone and just open any type of short form feed, doesn't matter whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, but open your short feed and just watch the next 5 videos, right? You can pause the video right now. I will still be here. And now just please tell me how many faces or names of creators you actually remember right now from this session that just happened less than a minute ago. If you remember any of them, just let me know who you remember and maybe even why you remember them, because maybe we can figure something out together here. But to be honest, I'm sure most of you didn't remember anybody. For example, this one right here, it looks amazing visually, but don't you kind of feel like they're trying to hide something, right? Whenever you see a video like this with these, you know what I mean, right? I've actually had lengthy discussions with my clients in my creator mentorship program where we basically all have come to the conclusion that people just have started to build this sort of content shield / bullshit radar in a way when it comes to this high retention editing, basically. And in my opinion, this is the reason why people are starting to get tired of this style. Simply because every fool can make a boring video look good now, right? Doesn't matter if it's factually wrong even or not. I think people are slowly starting to understand subconsciously that this type of editing style and basic content style is actually nothing more than overcompensating for their lack of actual substance, lack of content, actually, even, if you will. Plus, the other thing, obviously, which just still freaks me out, the whole AI thing. We can't really tell what's real or not anymore, and we're just getting started. The other day, by the way, I saw this video of a drone seemingly following an F1 car. Took me a while to actually figure out whether it was real or not. At first, I thought it's for sure not real. It's got to be fake. But then it turns out it was real. To be honest, at this point, I'm still not entirely sure if it's a real thing or not. And that's just the crazy thing about it, right? I don't even want to think of what will happen in a year or two. Most likely everything will be completely different. Probably they're gonna have to shut down AI video and on social media or not. I don't know. I really don't know. It's just, if you think about it, it's crazy. The other thing, by the way, I've also noticed is that in videos where there's all these elements flying around, right? Like I said, and the captions, basically the subtitles, are basically right at the center to capture people's attention like everybody says to do. But in these kinds of videos, we don't even look the creator in the face and the eye anymore, right? Which means we don't really form any type of bond with them. We don't remember them, right? Coming back to our little experiment right there. And if you don't remember the creator, there's nothing to come back to because it's just content. Just another piece of content without anything to attach my interests or whatever it is to it, right? Here's another interesting thing I've started to notice over the past month or two. With all of these kind of strange things happening, it seems like algorithms somehow now just don't look at the hard facts anymore, aka retention, have as much retention as possible, stuff like this. And they somehow, I don't know how, to be honest, but it seems like they somehow figure out whether your content is actually any good or not on a in-between level. Like I said, I have no idea how they actually do it. Obviously, most likely it's AI, right? The robots are taking over, but also less and less of these hype style retention editing, even copycat sort of boring, same old type of videos are being shared on the For You pages, right? On whatever platform. I can clearly see it in my viral hooks database, which is, by the way, something I didn't really mention at all. That I have that, but basically I have created a database which is updated daily with outlier / viral videos, mostly on Instagram and TikTok, so short form videos, to help you with understanding what's going on the platform as a whole, but also you can filter it with different niches, triggers, and just get the whole information in about why something blows up or not. We've been using this tool internally for a while, basically for content research and seeing what's hot right now or not. And you can actually check this out for free. Basic version is actually free. Down below, I made it, so could have some errors, but please check it out. Give it a try. Like I said, the basic version is free. Now, in this database, I have lately started to notice more and more sort of raw and real type of videos being pushed out. And the old style, if you will, usually has a lot, still gets pushed out, obviously, because it's not like a hard cut, but we can notice it in our data that also this old sort of style clearly has a lot less people engaging with it, right? Comments, everything. And to me, it seems like people prefer the, I'm on the same level as you, I'm just a creator and we're in the same boat type of content, as opposed to, look at me, right? I'm the influencer, preach, preach, preach. That's how it used to be, if you think about it. Now, here's where a lot of us fall into what I would call the creator trap, right? Me included, by the way. Because initially, of course, we need views. We need to get the algorithms to notice our content. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, you kind of know that similar content, similar styles, even similar same text, same hooks, just gets pushed out more on average. And that's the fastest way to blow up on any platform. Hence, by the way, why I have this viral video database to help you blow up as fast as possible. But it comes with a caveat. So let's say let's say you have this one strategy, you see your account starts to grow faster and faster, and the stats are growing, and everything just feels amazing at the beginning, especially if you just see the, the rush of excitement of growing and getting views and followers. Until you notice that whenever you slightly deviate from that very strict formula that you kind of have trained the algorithm on, your views will be down a lot. And naturally, what everybody's gonna do in this case is go back and create more of these same type of formulaic videos, because they just can't stand to have slightly less views or a lot less views than, this one or a few pillars that usually work. And then at some point, the attention that used to be on this very strict formulaic content that you created will have shifted, and you have no idea where it's gone, right? Because you were just focusing on copying what works, right, in a way. And you didn't really set yourself apart from anybody. So people are not really actively coming back to search for you, search for your opinion on a certain topic or whatever it is. And then the other natural thing is that you see your overall view baseline and reach baseline just drop, and you're gonna freak out. That happens quite a lot. So here's what I think you should do if that is your case, or if you don't even want to fall into that trap. I don't know about you, but just basically think about yourself. I love to follow people, and I'm interested in people who actually have something unique about their content, right? Something that makes them stand out just a tiny bit from this, same old white noise, right? Remember. And standing out in that case could be literally anything from showing a little bit more of your personality, which is, by the way, the #1 thing that gets crushed by retention editing, or it could be as simple as daring to actually allowing yourself to create something that's just a little bit different, or maybe even quite the opposite that everybody else does. Let me give you a few examples. This video right here, amazing video, by the way, one of the best videos in my opinion, got 1.2 million views within basically 24 hours. And in my opinion, if you take a look at this, if you're part of his target audience, this is what memorable, future-proof, short-form content looks like. And this whole thing just works really well because essentially, if you think about it, it's just a plain old reaction video. So basically something that you could just copy just 100 times better. It's not just copying the others doing exactly the same, but instead he's very smart about it, copying the essence of why people are interested in similar videos, and then just making it his own way. I'm gonna show you in a second how to do that yourself in your own content. Or another example, probably seen him, James Smith, who's totally crushing it right now with fitness content, right? Basically the industry where people just copy each other left and right, and you can't distinguish between fitness creator A and fitness creator B. And he's just basically doing it totally the opposite way. And if I had to put a label on it, I would say just real, basically authentic, honest content, right? There's no retention editing in the traditional sense. It still is in some other sense. But there's no crazy cuts left and right and just elements flying through and stuff like this. And also, if you take a closer look, by the way, the captions are not in your face type of thing, right? Right in the center, very big. They don't distract from actually looking into his eyes, right? Into his face, or wherever you look. But the captions are actually more like actual captions, just on the side, just small, kind of, if you see them, you see them. If not, you don't. And some videos don't even have captions in them, like this one with 3 million views, which makes me think, and I'm almost sure, probably we don't even need captions anymore. And it's my prediction that in 1 year, we're gonna look at these videos with the captions just popping in the center of the frame as, I'm weird, those were the old days, right? And right, I bet if you've seen this guy swiping through at some point, you'll remember him. Probably you remember him. Let me know if you actually have seen him before and you remember him right now. All right, so let's get into some actionable shit that will actually get you ahead of 99% of creators out there, that will make this upcoming crash, or whatever you want to call it, not really even noticeable for you. First of all, the one thing I see with these really successful creators who've really built something to last, right, who are gonna be okay when this whole shit hits the fan, is that they actually know their shit, right? And they have something to show outside of their content, which mostly is experience in some sort. They're not this 18-year-old dude giving dating advice, how to get a girlfriend, or business advice, how to be a millionaire, you know, even though they are obviously not millionaires. But anyway, let's go back to the actual stuff that matters. First of all, really take some time to think of your, you know, what a lot of people call your unfair advantage. What is that? You know, it could be literally anything. It could be that you have good video editing skills, or just your personality, right? Or you've had a three-legged chicken when you were a kid, and for some reason it's still alive. Don't ask me how to incorporate this into your brand, but basically that's what you want to do. Find your unfair advantage and try to wrap it around your personal brand, about you, right? That makes you unique, something that makes you basically memorable. And I guarantee you, there is something, even though it might not feel like there is something with everything. My creator membership, we talk a lot about that. And usually we do find something, what a surprise, very fast. And then once you've found that, actually go ahead and allow yourself to think, what content would you like to see? Like you personally, right? What's missing in your opinion in all the content out there in your industry, or maybe even outside your industry? And especially if you have content focused around educating people on some topic, you gotta first of all really just know your shit. Right? And if you don't know your shit, by the way, just be an open book about it and make that your thing. Make that your unfair advantage, that you're actually here and to take people on a journey with you through all the failures and all, you know, basically the journey, basically storytelling. Right. I'm sure, you know, we've heard it back in the days, document, don't create. Gary Vee made it famous. And I believe this sort of content creation style is coming back more and more, just packaged a little bit differently. Because people's raters have just become way too high. And if you ask me, to be honest, in a sense, smaller emerging creators have some form of advantage over bigger established ones, especially when it comes to building trust in the sense of making money with it, right? Whether it's if they want to get brand deals or with your own products, right? If you want to sell a course, for example. I remember when I was a starting creator, basically, my course sales were pretty good, because I can only explain to myself, because my content sucked, but I can only explain to myself that people just trusted me because I was a sort of a small creator. Why would I have to bullshit, if you know what I mean? Right? Recent other example from my life that I was actually thinking about just the other day, iJustine, you know, YouTube channel. I love the channel, but it's a very, let's say, seasoned channel. She's been here for a while. She's very big and, you know, basically one of the biggest channels in her niche. And of course I'm gonna watch a video about, let's say, the latest Apple Watch, but I'm not gonna take her review of whatever product she has to make my buying decision. When I decide to buy something, I try to find some smaller ones, some that don't even have any sponsors, because I wanna see the real world stuff, right? I don't wanna see the hyped up shit. And I don't know why exactly, but to me, it feels like on social media, we barely can trust anybody anymore. Okay, so to round this whole thing up, I believe in the long run, try to be as authentic as possible, right? Go back to the roots a bit even. Don't feel like you need to overcompensate your lack of knowledge or experience with hyper editing and making shit up, right? Don't do that. Instead, actually, let's say, feature what you can't fix or something like that. Now, the other part of the coin, the other side of the coin, unfortunately, is, of course, algorithms still to a certain degree prefer pre-validated, you know, very similar content to each other. So it's totally okay to create something like that every once in a while, right? Something that's just very similar. But your focus, if you really want to make a difference in the long run, which you should, right? Because otherwise you'll be gone pretty soon. Your focus should be trying to set yourself apart as somebody you can't really copy. Somebody that shows personality, somebody that's not afraid to voice their opinion or to create content that's totally different from the rest of the crowd. And somebody where people kind of have a feeling that they're actually in a big boat together with the creator. And that also might mean, by the way, that in the short run, you'll see less views, less likes, less engagement, mental health issues because of that. But, and that's, by the way, the other thing, did you actually know that there's a lot of creators making crazy amounts of money with less than 10,000 followers, where you would look at them and you'd say, well, this is just a bad, you know, they're just trying, they don't have a lot of reach, they have 10,000 views, they have 5,000 views and stuff, but they're crushing it financially. Comment the word, let's say 10K down here on this video, and I'll make a video walking you through the process of making money actually with a small audience right now. Now, I understand you might be a little confused right now. and you might not know how to actually start and put all this info into practice. So watch this video next and you'll see parts of that whole change actually in action ready to be implemented.